Show you how to do a drawing challenge. We like to call it take a walk for a line, but it's really another way for you to experiment with different materials, more specifically drawing, and coming up with some really interesting, unique results. All right, so to take a line for a walk, you're obviously going to need a piece of paper. I'd start with a 9x12, which is a small piece. You can go bigger, but remember, this is going to take a relatively long period of time to do. Also going to need a marker. I have a Sharpie. The Crayola crayon markers work just as well. I didn't have one when I was making this, so I'm stuck with a Sharpie marker. You're also going to need some oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are just like crayons. They are just oil-based as opposed to wax-based. They're a lot softer. You could do this with crayon as well. You could even do it with marker, but I'm going to show you with oil pastel. So what you're going to do is you'll start at one end of your paper, and you're just going to start drawing a line. Now, this line can go anywhere. It can look like anything. Just continue the line on the paper now. Keep going around. You can make some curves. Just take your line for a walk. See where it takes you. Maybe some jagged lines. Just want to keep that line moving. So as you can see, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit here. Just continue making your lines. No rhyme or reason to it. You can try to hide things in there if you want. But sometimes you just want to keep your line moving because you know what? You're just taking it for a walk and you're seeing it where it goes. So you can do some curves. Do some angles, some points. Just keep going. All right, so I've got my drawing complete. Believe it or not, this is one continuous line. And because it's one continuous line, that means there's areas in here that never touch each other. So that's what makes this thing so cool. So I'm going to start over here in this corner. And I'm going to choose an area. Let's just say I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to color in with oil pastel. I'm going to color in a fairly decent amount right here. Right, so, and then I'm going to switch colors. Doesn't matter which color to switch to. I thought I had a yellow one around here somewhere. Yeah, we'll do white because white's so I'm just going to color in this area right in here, and this is a good time to practice blending. If you notice how that white and that red blended together, now I can grab another color. Let's do brown, and we're going to come over here and we're going to go up this way. And that's going to go up this little path, and I can switch colors again to a different color. It's kind of a taupe. Good blending right there. I can go back to red if I want to do that. And I can color that in. So now you can start to see that there are some negative space areas that are going to appear when I start working and coloring in these areas. I want to leave some white space around because that's going to give us a good contrast to the design. There's my yellow one. So I'm just going to let that blend right in there. And so I can go this way. I can go this way and continue working. So I'm just going to go this way. And I'll get another one. Let's try, there's a blue. So put some blue in there. Try to stay inside the black lines. I do some red down. That makes purple. Red and blue make purple. And I'm just going to continue adding different colors around. Inside my lines. Totally random, nothing that's so important that, you know, if you make a mistake, no one's going to see it. So now I finished that vein. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to work on this one. So let's see, let's start with red. The thing about oil pastel is it's really soft and you want to keep it off the floor. If it gets on the floor, you want to pick it up immediately, because if it gets on the floor and someone steps on it, it smashes the crayon and it ruins the crayon and you can't use it again. And then we have to come in and clean it up. However, if you do drop a oil pastel on the floor and it does get stepped on, what you can do is get a Kleenex, and Kleenex will clean it up really easily. Comes pretty much up right away with Kleenex. A lot better than paper towel. I don't know, paper towel tends to smear it. It's not very good when it smears, because then it gets all over the place. And just about finished with this part of the drawing. It also takes a decent amount of time to color this in. So this isn't a project that you would start and expect to finish in a day. It would take probably 2 or 3 class periods, depending on the size of paper. Obviously, if you went with a larger piece of paper, it's going to take a lot longer time to do. So now I'm going to come over this way, because those are all closed off. So now I'm going to work on coming up this way, because it's open here, and cut a new color, kind of a brighter orange, and then we'll just continue adding the colors like we did before. All right, so a lot of times boys and girls come up to me and they're like, Mr. Frelich, there's no oil pastels. But I look over there and there's all these really small oil pastels like this. I think these are still good. These are, they still work very well when you're doing this project. You don't have to have brand new ones. Matter of fact, as soon as somebody opens it and they use it, it's no longer a new oil pastel, and therefore still able to use it just like the regular ones. All right, so now I got, oh, there's my opening here for this one, and it's going to come around here, and then that'll freeze that one. I'll have to come over here to here and then go up to this way to do this one. So it's kind of like maze, like a maze. It's really amazing. Okay, one thing that I've forgot to mention was, as you're working across your paper, your hand's going to kind of want to drag across the paper, and you're going to notice that if you don't take precautions, you're going to start getting oil pastel smeared inside the white area. So what I did is I went to the recycling bin and I got a piece of recycling paper, and I'm going to set it right over there so I can rest my hand on it when I'm coloring these areas. And that'll keep it from smearing.
Hello.
Siri, stop it. So I'm getting close to, I'm a little more than halfway done. One thing that you'll notice is that as you work in these for a long period of time, not only do you end up with a really unique and interesting image, piece of artwork, but you're also developing something called persistence. And persistence is something that artists really need in order to improve. And that's the stick-with-itness that it requires when they're working on something big or something, it might take a little bit of time, but they are totally into it and want to finish something that they started. They don't quit. So that's one of the things, one of the skills that artists always develop is their ability to stick with something to finish it all the way to the end, which is really important, not only in art, but in anything that you do. If you want to improve, you're going to have some rough spots. You're going to have times when you just want to quit. It's like you're not getting anywhere. But those are the times when you have to think about the end picture, the big picture. What is it going to look like in the end? All right, so there's the finished piece right here. And it took me a little more than a half an hour to finish. But you can see it's really cool and striking. Imagine this with a black border around it, and it would be definitely ready for showpiece.